Prime Minister Justin Trudeau brushed by reporters and any questions about Donald Trump's late-night post. In it, the president-elect said it was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada.
Canada versus USA? I thought we were always friends. Now what's going on? Is Trump gonna be a problem for Canada? Is Canada gonna be a problem for Trump? We're gonna talk about this right now on Breaking Mediocrity. This is D.A. Bourne. Welcome to Breaking Mediocrity. I appreciate it if you could like, share, comment, and subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subs. Anything you could do, it'd be greatly appreciated. Even if you don't finish this video, press that like button before you leave. That'd be great. All right. So let's talk about Canada versus USA. Has it gone to that point now? I don't know. But all we know is that Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, has decided he's going to put 25% tariffs on anything coming from Mexico or Canada into the U.S. This affects the U.S. because this encourages them to have American-made stuff for less. But anything coming that's not American is going to be expensive. This affects Mexico and this affects Canada because it just makes all prices and everything go up. It's the opposite of the North American Free Trade Agreement. So Trump's incentive in doing this is that legal migration will decrease. And it's been more so coming through Mexico than Canada because to be honest, I don't know of a whole lot of people who've been getting through from Canada into the US and staying there. It's happening. I just don't hear a lot of stories about it. It's more coming from the southern border. Anyway, so this is his goal. And obviously, I don't think he wants to make 25% tariffs a long-term thing. But needless to say, it has gotten in panic mode for Canada, for Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, who met with all the Ontario premiers to discuss this. Now, those who were watching, and your American premier is the same as governors in the US. So he met with all the premiers. They're like, oh, what are we going to do about this? 25% tariffs is detrimental to the Canadian economy. So what did Justin Trudeau do? He made an emergency meeting. He flew out to Florida to meet with Trump because that's where Trump lives. They have dinner. They discuss the issue. Trudeau says 25% tariffs. Is there anything you could do? This is not good for our country. Trump jokes about it and says, hey, if you don't want the tariffs, you could always make Canada the 51st state, right? Obviously, he was doing it in joking manner, but also he meant it. He meant that I ain't moving these tariffs anytime soon. So you know how well that meeting went, right? Anyway, it continues. He spreads that joke with the tweet on social media calling Trudeau, the governor of Canada, that he was happy to meet with him, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I don't want to talk any more further. I want to show a clip of how this has escalated into a bigger issue. Here we go.
Minister Justin Trudeau brushed by reporters and any questions about Donald Trump's late-night post. In it, the president-elect said it was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon. A continuation of a comment he made during that dinner at Mar-a-Lago, where Donald Trump suggested if our country can't survive without a trade imbalance, maybe Canada should become the 51st state.
It sounds like we're living in an episode of South Park.
Cabinet reaction ranged from flippant to firm.
Clearly, he's joking. We're a sovereign nation.
We need to focus on being mature as a country and taking responsibility.
Those measured responses from current ministers were countered by a former member of cabinet.
He knows little about the world, let alone Canada.
Former Justice Minister Alan Rock believes the Prime Minister should have a frank call with Trump.
I stress the importance of the PM speaking directly to Trump to tell him to back off this kind of offensive language and this so-called MAGA humor.
Meantime, Ontario Premier Doug Ford appeared on Trump's favorite network, Fox News, for the second time in 2 weeks, talking about tomorrow's virtual meeting with the Prime Minister and other premiers.
We're going to hold the prime minister accountable, and he needs to come up with an answer. I'd be more than happy to fly down to Florida tomorrow if the president had a few minutes. I'd be down there in a heartbeat.
The Prime Minister has called for a Team Canada approach to avoid Trump's threat of 25% tariffs on all Canadian imports. Flavio Volpe was involved in renegotiating the new NAFTA. And he says the real test will be when the countries sit down to crunch numbers.
And I know what the price of steel and aluminum and critical minerals are. And I know where they have to go to get that. So I know that they know how important we are to them for lots of reasons.
The federal government has promised new investments on the border to address Trump's concerns that illegal drugs and migrants are flowing into the U.S. Asked when we can expect that border plan to be announced, the public safety minister said soon. Todd?
CTV's Michael Couture in Ottawa. Thanks, Mike.
There you have it. All right. And it obviously nothing is settled as yet. But what happened is Justin Trudeau met with all the premiers a second time to discuss this. We even had Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He was on Fox News. He said he would meet Trump in a heartbeat to discuss further things. But then he goes further the next day and he says, hey, if Trump is going to put these 25% tariffs on, Ontario can stop delivering energy to the U.S. We all know that U.S. gets their energy from Canada, right? So posing threats, okay. And obviously all the other premiers don't necessarily agree with Doug Ford in terms of doing this, but needless to say, what is this all coming to? Trump is not going to back down from 25% tariffs, mainly because he knows that Justin Trudeau's time is almost up in Canada. Why is he going to give Justin Trudeau any respect when the majority of Canadians don't respect Justin Trudeau anymore? He has served his time. He is well overdue to make an exit. Trump doesn't care about what Justin Trudeau thinks. All right. He wants this illegal migration thing to end. This is his plot. It's hard to negotiate with Trump when he has a goal set in mind. All right. We know this isn't a long-term thing, but he wants to see some progress. This is just the way he wants to do it right now. And to be honest, now all of a sudden Canada wants to be a peacemaker when they've been being a peacekeeper for so long. Now, you may be saying, what's the difference between a peacekeeper and a peacemaker? A peacekeeper is someone who they don't want conflict. They just want to keep things very cool. They don't want no issues. This is how Canada's been with the world. But now all of a sudden things come up and you got 25% tariffs and also you want to make peace. You want to be a peacemaker. You want to resolve the issue. Well, Justin Trudeau, you could have done this by not allowing so much, the same stuff that the Democrat government's been allowing into the U.S. You've been doing the same thing in Canada. Over the years, Canada has not made, their industries very strong. I mean, when the strongest industry in Canada is real estate, your Canada's economy is in trouble. You know what I mean? So this is where we're at right now. Am I nervous about what's going to happen to Canada? Of course I am. A little bit. You know what I mean? I know things are going to go up in price. Things are going to go up in price in the U.S. now as well. But you know what? Sometimes things got to get worse before it gets better. But needless to say, you're not going to change Donald Trump's mind. The only person that can do anything to change the mind of Donald Trump coming from Canada is Pierre Poilievre. If you're in the US, you're asking, who the heck is Pierre Poilievre? He is the leader of the opposition of the progressive conservatives in Canada, who right now, if we had an election today, he would probably win. And he is more like-minded, just like Trump. He is right-wing. He he's no nonsense. He is focused on Canada first, but I believe if he was to meet with Donald Trump, they would come more to an agreement about this whole tariff thing. Problem is, he's not the prime minister yet. So it doesn't really help for him to meet with him right now. But I think they will meet in the near future. And I think that is the only person that can convince Trump to do something to help Canada out. I want to know your thoughts about this whole thing. Is it going to get really bad for Canada? Should Trudeau back off and what should we do? Should Canada continue to make these threats not to negotiate with the US? I don't know. I want to know your thoughts. Drop it in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe to Breaking Mediocrity. I know we're going to talk more about this. You know, this is Canada, US. We don't want a war. It's not, I mean, when I say war, we're not going to actually have a war, but we need to get along. You know what? Big brother, little brother type thing. We need to get along. All right. Until then, we'll talk in the next episode. All right. Peace.